in this video, we're going to be talking about UV DTF transfers and UV vinyl, both used in these cups that I'm going to make. I'm going to explain the difference between them and why I love both of them so much and why they go so well with our crafts. Okay, so let's talk about a UV DTF transfer, direct to film transfer. These guys are a lot of fun. The colors are very vibrant, and it's a very quick time saver when you're crafting. Best of all, you don't have to seal them. You can just peel, stick, and pull the carrier away, and you're ready to go. One of the things people like is that there are no edges like you would see on a regular UV vinyl. Okay, so with a UV vinyl, you'll have to trim around it. You can get very close to your design, but you're still going to have clear little edges, as opposed to a UV DTF transfer where it is just the ink that stays on your substrate or your surface. The durability of the UV DTF transfers has been just what has made this so popular, I believe. You see a lot of these glass cups and a lot of these shot glasses and coffee mugs that you typically don't cure or seal with resin. And the versatility, you can apply this to so many different surfaces, not just stainless steel like you would on tumblers. You can put it on plastics and glass and ceramics and metals, basically anything, because it is such a strong, durable, adhesive sticker. There's countless things you can do with these guys. The application process for your UV DTFs is very easy, and it was kind of a selling point for me. I didn't have to weed the vinyl anymore. I didn't have to cut. It was just basically your two pieces of vinyl backing and your carrier, and your image was kind of sandwiched in between. The image is the only thing that you're going to be taking away. So when you peel the backing away from your carrier, you place your transfer however which way you want to place it. Now, that is probably one of the downfalls, is when you do stick it, you're married to that spot, so you can't really pick it up and rearrange it like you could a vinyl. With a vinyl, you could just peel it back and rearrange and stick it again, as many times as you want. But with a UV DTF transfer, you are stuck with that first commitment, that first placement. You better make it work, and you're going to have to, because there's no pulling that guy back up, because once it sticks, it's down. So you take it, pull the backing off, you go and you find the surface on where you want to place your item, and then you push it down and you pressure it out and you get all the air bubbles out, and then you pull back your carrier. And once you pull back the carrier, you're just left with your image. It's like having a painting, but without the canvas behind. You know what I mean? It is just the paint. It's so awesome. I love it. Now with UV adhesive vinyl, craft vinyl, that was my first love. So I really love and respect a good vinyl. You can have a opaque white vinyl, which can do your entire tumbler. You can cover it like a wallpaper, or you can cut out little elements and you can do it that way. It is an opaque, kind of like a wrapping paper for your tumbler. So it gives you a lot of visual texture as well as a decorative purpose. Or you can use a clear, transparent vinyl, which has a white backing for your image, and then the image is then printed on top of that white backing, and then that will give you like a floating image look. Now you will have to trim around it, and then you'll have a little bit of edges because the vinyl does stay on the cup. You will have to seal it, so whether it is a permanent vinyl or not, it will still weather away. So you'll want to seal it with epoxy or some kind of spray sealer or something. With UV DTFs, you don't have to do that. I've seen a lot of people work with UV DTFs, and I see them cut through the UV DTF transfer. Got to be very careful with that sometimes, because even though it is a UV DTF durable transfer, there's still a glue. The image has its own sealer. So there's a glue that floats over the image. So a lot of people say, don't cut through your UV DTF transfer, because then you're breaking that seal that is protecting your transferred image. With UV adhesive vinyl, you can cut all day all you want because that image is on that paper, and that paper, that is going to stay with your image forever. So you can cut it up all you want, and you're also going to be able to seal it with epoxy or seal or whatever. And that does play a factor when you are trying to creatively place different designs and elements throughout your cup or your art. Okay, so now that we have talked about UV DTF transfers and UV adhesive vinyl, now I'm going to show you how I do it. So here's a few decals that we have that I brought to the line that I want to put on these cups, especially these straight cups. They look so pretty when they're stretched across. This is trimmable. You can trim this away. You can cut this up, hack it up, however which way you want to make it fit your cup. I went ahead and I printed these 9 inches in height because the majority of the tumblers that I see people working with are the 30-ounce skinnies or the straights. So I wanted this decal to take up the majority of the cup. If need be, trim it up if you have to. But for this cup right here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to size it up to my cup. I'm going to leave a little bit of room at the top and the bottom. That way I can make sure my epoxy seals and grabs onto that stainless steel. And then I'm going to stick it on there. So first things first, let's clean it up. Let's trim it up. We're going to trim the edges, this frame. I'm going to trim this away. And then I'm going to use the hinge method. I'm going to take one side of the vinyl backing off, give it a nice cut off a piece of that, and then place my vinyl backing back onto the adhesive part, just so that way I can hinge it when I'm peeling it off and placing it down to squeegee out the air bubbles. And then tape it off. I'm using painter's tape. This is a very non-aggressive adhesive tape. It's like a washi tape, but a little bit thicker than washi tape to put it onto my vinyl. I will not seal this yet because I am going to be painting my stainless steel on the other side of this. So I want to make sure that I don't get paint on my vinyl, but I'm also using a tape that is not going to pull or tear off some of that ink. Here are 2 examples of the cups where I did the painting. I wanted to lay down my metallic paint on one. This is my metal priming paint in the shade Maybe. And I wanted to put that down because I wanted just a clean, very baby powdery pink for this cup right here, because I am going to be doing a burnish method on this cup right here. But for my siren cup, I wanted lots of visual texture because the glitter that I was going to be using was going to have lots of different shards and flake sizes. Color was going to be different. You're going to have golds and silvers and stars and just all kinds of different shades of metal in there. So I wanted to make sure that the base coat on this tumbler right here, on my siren tumbler, was going to be very billowy, and I wanted to pounce my brush on there and make sure that I got lots of visual peaks and patterns and texture. And I also wanted to give it different shades of color as well. So I did use my, some blue that I have here laying around. I can't remember exactly. It's my Liquitex. Can't remember exactly what shade it was. But then I also came in with my fern because I wanted to give it, pops of green in there, because I wanted to have like a very very cosmic, celestial vibe going on in there. And I did not want to just make it flat. I wanted it to be very harmonious and very dramatic. And for my gypsy cup, I used my blindfolded, this in black, but I knew I was going to come in with some gold. So I wanted to create like a curtain, like a gold shimmering curtain that had a shadowy black darkness behind it. I wanted it to be very 3D-ish, to where the gold was standing apart from the cup. Hope that makes sense. I wanted to create like a stage. I wanted it to look like there was something behind the glitter. But all the cups here have it all in common. I tape it off and then I paint before I actually do any glitter. I never, ever, ever. I know some people, it's all preference, depending on, different strokes for different folks. But I like to have a base coat for my cups. At the very beginning, I used to put 2 coats of glitter instead of just base coating. And, live and learn, I was wasting a lot of glitter. I noticed that if I put a base coat down, I would get more out of my glitter. Okay, now that you're back and your paint is already dry, you are now prepped and ready to go to put down your adhesive for your glitter. I know some people like to put down paint and then they throw their glitter on top of the paint and then the paint dries holding onto that glitter. That's not my preferred way to do it. I would rather put an adhesive down on top of that paint. I don't want the paint to gobble up the glitter. I don't want it to swallow every little flake while it holds onto it for dear life. No. I will let the paint be the paint and I will let the adhesive be the adhesive and let the adhesive do its job of holding onto the glitter and not the other way around. So depending on your preference of how you like to throw your glitter down or what method you like to apply your glitter, some people like the epoxy method, some people like the tack it. I like it all, okay? I don't discriminate. I like to do it all. So if I'm feeling like this cup right here is gonna need the epoxy because it's a thicker chunk, and I know that it's gonna be a chunky, texturized glitter finish, then I'm gonna go for something a little bit more aggressive, like my epoxy. And I'm gonna whip that up and I'm gonna put it down and I'm gonna throw my glitter on that. Now I'm not gonna go heavy on it like I'm coating the guy. I'm just gonna go light enough to give me some strong adhesion, a good tight bond. So that way, when I do set it aside to cure, I don't gotta put it on the turner, okay? If you make it too thick, it's going to absorb your glitter and it's gonna look a little patchy and a little funky, and it's gonna have like some greasy looking wet spots, throughout the glitter. You want a nice consistent coverage. So only put just down like a little thin coat. That way it's not running off the cup while you have it hanging upside down, curing, and you have a nice consistent flow of glitter. Or if you just like to do the tack it method because you're not a chunky person and you like the tack it method, then by all means, please go ahead and just throw down your tack it, let that dry, and then you can apply your glitter and do it however which way you want to. Whether you want to do the burnish method, there's a million different ways on how you can apply your glitter. Like I said, I do it all. For this boot cup right here, I want to kick this guy up just a little bit. Now, I noticed that I had a few little white spots on this. I think my sealer didn't seal all the way before I got to epoxy happy and I jumped the gun and it didn't dry completely. Lesson learned, guys. When you go to put your sealer down, because I wanted to make sure that my glitter did not move all over the cup when I was epoxying it. So I put down a sealer to seal my glitter. When I came into epoxy, my sealer wasn't completely cured. It was dry to the touch, but it was not cured. Rookie mistake. Don't jump the gun, okay? Let it sit overnight if you can. If you're in a time pinch, put a fan on it, but give it the adequate time, because if you jump the gun too soon, you're gonna get some white spots, and which is what I had right here. But being the crafter that I am, I always have an out, okay? I made it work in my favor. I said, okay, my glitter is not consistent. That's fine. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna put a foil down. So bring it back into the studio. It's nice, it's prepped, it's ready to go. I don't sand it because you can't sand. Don't sand, okay? If you're gonna put a foil down, you don't wanna sand. If you wanna put a clear transfer decal down, don't sand. Just bring it back in, and then you're gonna put your transfer, or you're gonna put your tack it down. I'm gonna use some tack it from Wicked Shimmer Supply, and I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to apply a foil, a pull away foil. And that's going to leave behind a little kind of opalescent, dreamy, it's going to leave behind a finish to make it look like it was intentionally done that way. It's not going to cover up my glitter, all is not lost, but we're going to play off those milky white spots that could have been a disaster, but I leaned into it. So now that we have our foil down and it's been pulled away and we got the look that we're going for, I'm going to stripe this baby and I'm going to trim my large decal. This is what is this? This is my I forgot the name of this guy. I'll link it here in the description, but it's one of my boots, guys. It's the legs. And I'm going to put this guy down directly on top of my foil section. And then I'm going to go and get this guy nice and ready for some epoxy because I'm going to give it another epoxy job. Okay, for my siren cup, have my finished or ready to go, not finished. It is almost finished. Sealed tumbler. I did not sand this guy. I did not sand this guy. So I have my tumbler. I'm going to stripe it and then I'm going to put down my decals. These are my UV DTF decal elements. Okay, these are little elements that I put together on little tiny baby gang sheet. You can cut these. I have them spaced apart far enough to where you can cut, in between. That way you're not breaking the seal. And you can place them down on the cup to create a collage or a little message. I have these on little collages, little sheets. They're on my site. I will also link that below. But this is how we do it, okay? You pick out your element, you give it a little snip, snip, and trim here, trim there. Put the placement down, press it out, pull your transfer or your carrier, and voila, you are left with a beautiful little image on there. There's no weeding, there's no trimming. You just take the image you want, or you trim out your element, peel it, stick it, press it, peel it again, and you're done. It's that simple. So you can play with these. They're very addicting. You collect them, you stick them everywhere. You can put them on your tumblers. You can put them on your ceramics. You can put them on your glasses, shot glasses, candles. I mean, the possibilities are endless, really. I love, love, love the way this turned out. They're very flexible also. So you can see right here where I put my moon down and it kind of went onto the handle. And I was like, it's fine, no big deal. Just push it onto that handle. Like I meant to do it. Like it was like crawling onto that handle. I like the way it looked, little touches like that. When you are done with this guy, you can send him off to get sealed with epoxy, or you can even leave this alone. You can just leave it as is. Like I said, these guys are very durable. You won't want to put this in the dishwasher because it does have a layer of epoxy on it, but you can rest assured that you don't have to add another layer of epoxy to seal these guys in. If you were putting a decal down, like a regular UV adhesive decal, you're going to want to do that because those can be picked off like a sticker. These can't be picked off. These guys, they're down, they're done, they're stuck on there. You're committed. So there you go. I loved working on these cups. These cups were so much fun. I just love I like to collect the decals. I collect the decals, whether they're UV DTFs, whether they're cup wraps, or whether they're vinyl, whatever it is. I love pattern. I'm visual. I like to see the textures, and I like the character it brings to your tumblers. It's an added bonus to when you are really trying to make a statement when creating your cups. It's no longer just about the glitter. You can now bring in pictures and art into your cups with these fun and creative materials. If you are a UV DTF transfer collector, or if you're just getting into them and you want to start your collection, I curate a collection of them every single month. They are seasonal. Sometimes they are just random, depending on what it is, like these little element sheets. These are disco balls and moons and stuff. Sometimes they are seasonal, depending on the time of the year they come out, or sometimes they are all themed out. whatever they are, they're fun and they're amazing to just have on hand, especially, you know, if you're ever in a pinch that you need to like make a gift for somebody, grab these decals. You don't have to worry about the epoxy drying time and curing time. You know, you don't have to stress about creating something on the fly. You can grab one of these guys, stick it on a candle, stick it on a cup, whatever it is. It's a fun thing to do as well as a time-saving and stress-free way to shop for your UV DTFs. Just rack up, you know, your little collection there and, you know, start sticking away, you know, just like this. So I hope you loved it. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, please like and subscribe, and please leave me a comment to let me know what you think about UV DTF transfers. Do you like them? Do you hate them? How would you apply them? And where would you apply them? Or have you been applying them? You know, all of the above. Just come say hi. Please join my Facebook group and join the community of people who are having fun with these UV DTFs and vinyls and their collection and what they're making. We're always here to help and support, and we want to hear from you. So have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will be seeing you